Good Monday morning of the 6th week of the year. Actually, it's Thursday morning. It's what time is it now? It's 4:20 in the morning. I've been up for an hour. This is gonna be I got to teach today. I have a couple of classes and I got a couple of meetings. It's a full day, and by the time I get to the end of the week, toward Thursday and Friday, I panic because I want to do these videos. Okay, and I think, oh my God, I'll never get them done, and I do, of course. But anyway, that's what's happening today. So it's real. These videos have been on my mind since 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock this morning when I woke up. I want to do them. I do them from my heart, but I have to say, I panic around Thursday or Friday because I think I gotta get them done. My father said, "You're nervoso. You're a nervous wreck." Anyway, today's readings are tricky. I have to say, the gospel, forget about it. Mark is just, I don't want to. The book of Genesis is interesting here. It's the birth of Cain and Abel and the death of Abel. Cain murders Abel. And it's really something because I think, can I try this? I'm not a biblical scholar, but Cain is a tiller of the soil. He's a farmer. Abel is a herdsman. I think what the Old Testament, especially the book of Genesis, is trying to do is explain why it is so difficult, where the difficulties of life come from, given God is the creator. And God is a good and a bountiful creator. And why is it so tough to live? I think that's it. And where did all the why are all the conflict, death, separation, anger, etc.? They had to lay it off. It couldn't lay it off on the creator. It had to come from the creation itself, especially the human heart. And so you get sin, the introduction of desire, jealousy, and sin. That's Cain, okay? Okay, I'll give you my 3.5 cents here. Actually, it's not worth a penny, but whatever it's worth to you. See, I think about this because in my class on the philosophy of religion, I show them the movie Dances with Wolves, the Kevin Costner film, because I show a Native American spirituality. And there you don't see a struggle with the earth. You see a resonance with the earth. But here's the difference. And actually, Henry David Thoreau saw that if you read the book Walking, his meditations on the earth, he writes that around 1820, something like that. I don't know when he wrote it. It's in that period, the early 19th century. And by then he saw to look west to the land, the openness of the land was freedom. To look back, in a sense, was you might learn something going back, we're going east, but that's the realm of death. The future, life lies in the West, in the future. Why? He saw the great opening of the land. You see, he saw the land, unowned land, freedom, the free land, you see. That's Thoreau. That's part of the Romantic movement in America. Emerson, Thoreau, the Transcendentalists. They are extraordinarily important in the evolution of American thought, American spirituality, natural spirituality. It's the wildness of the land. I'll show you my example. I see that too because I have been in the wilderness. I hunted up in northern Ontario. I've been to Alaska. I don't mean as a tourist. I've been on the soil, in the land, carrying a rifle. You see what I mean? Hunting as the natives hunted. I hunted with a Native American, Bill Ritchie, up in northern Ontario. You see? There, you don't control the land. You adapt to the land. You allow the land to speak to you. You love the land and she loves you back. That's a Native American experience. When I'm in Italy, it's really interesting because my father comes from a somewhat quasi-rural area. It's a tiny little township right on the edge, okay? Beautiful part of Italy. It's Tuscany. Were you kidding me? All right? When I was there with my mother, she said, notice you don't hear any birds. There aren't any. There's nothing wild. It's old. My father called it the old country. He was right. It's old. The land's been tilled to death. See, there's no vibrancy in the land. The people are vibrant, of course. I love my cousins. I love the land. I love the people. But the land is old. The Mediterranean world has been tilled for 6,000 to 8,000 years, whatever. It's exhausted. And so you don't see the fertility of the land. You don't see the wildness of the land. You see the land that having been tilled to death, as it were. I saw that. I saw that. I contrast the beautiful, but dead. That's exactly what Thoreau said. Look east, you don't see vitality. He said, look east for that. You'll die. You look east, you're going to see good literature, and that's about it. You look west, you want life. And he was right. And not because the West is better than the East, because the land, the openness of the land. So the book of Genesis is a reflection of what I would call Mediterranean experience. These guys were slugging it out, trying to survive. And they're trying to understand how. How is it this way? They couldn't attribute it to God the Creator. It had to come from human sin. See? It's myth-making in the best sense of the word. It's the richness of the narrative of people trying to figure it all out. What's it all about, Alfie? What's it all about? And I think that's what they're doing. See? And so once Cain kills Abel and Abel's blood is in the soil, that soil will not give back. He's got to work at the sweat of his brow. Cain does. The farmer can make a living. Why? Because of the blood of Abel in the land. You see? The land resists Cain, resists the farmer. I wonder at the time of Genesis, this must have been a struggle between land, farmers, and herdsmen. I bet you buck against the donut against that one, okay? This is telling you about the culture at that time. Yeah, I think so. I bet money on it. These guys are reflecting their times and trying to explain the inexplicable, the great mystery of God's creation and life, his immanent presence within the world, and yet the horrors of this world, the difficulties of this world, the struggle. They're trying to figure it all out. And so they write this marvelous narrative. I could see these guys sitting around the campfires, saying, how we got in this mess, blah, 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 okay? What they were telling is a story truer than true. It's not factual. It's not historical. There's even incongruities in it. Cain's going to get protected from all other human beings. There are no other human beings. He's it, you see. The writer doesn't care about the details. He cares about the mystery, the great story. And it becomes a story of redemption. You always see hope. You always see hope. God doesn't abandon us. See? And yet it's our own doing that causes, in a sense, our separation from each other. The ultimate mystery is the tragic relationships we have with people, with each other. The torment within our own hearts, and our isolation from each other. We are lonely animals on the earth, and we are seeking communion, you see, both with the earth that resists us, see, and the fellow and members of our families. You see, Cain's worried about getting whacked by other humans. There is no other humans to whack him, you see. But the point is, it's telling you the human story. It's not a despairing story. It's an attempt in narrative form to tell a story about why we are, who we are, where we are, what we are, yet with hope of the benevolent. God is present. He's talking to him. God is present. He's not going to let human race get wiped out. We're not going to destroy ourselves. We will get redeemed. We are always being redeemed because God is always present in the great journey, the great narrative. I think that's the book of Genesis. I think that's what I love reading it, okay? And its incongruities are cute. I can see these guys telling a story, sitting in a desert community on the edge of the Mediterranean world. They're not in the wilderness of North America where it's wild and full of life and teeming. They're struggling to survive. And they want to say, what's it all about, Alfie? How do we get in a mess like this? Well, you know what? Boof. We are forever trying to explain the inexplicable. And yet we trust in the wisdom and the beauty of God and his fidelity and mercy. And that is the great story of Judeo-Christianity, Islam, the Abrahamic traditions.